Oh, hello there. I didn't even see you there. How are you today? Oh, and you in the back. Hi. Oh, how lovely it is to see you. See, I'm reading this story. It's an awfully good story. It's called Candide by Voltaire. It's a story about a young man named Candide. Candide is a naive young man and eager to learn about the world around him. He is new to the world and thus does not yet know the ways of humanity like you and I. We come across this young man for the first time as he is receiving a lesson from his tutor Pangloss. The characterization of Pangloss in Candide satirizes philosophy in Pangloss's exaggerated and excessive optimism, as well as Candide's naivete.
Aye, lad, have you written down those words? Are you learning? You are more than capable. You know that, right? It is proved that things cannot be other than they are, for since everything was made for a purpose, it follows that everything was made for the best purpose. And do you suppose why we have these apple trees? Clearly it was because we were made to eat apples. Observe our noses. They were made for us to carry spectacles, were they not? Our legs were clearly intended for breeches. And since pigs were made to be eaten, well, we eat pork all year round. It follows that those that maintain that is right talk nonsense. They out to say that is for the best.
Now here, our lovely Lady Cunegonde comes across Candide's mentor Pangloss in the bushes with her fair mother's chambermaid, receiving some ideas for her and Candide later on. When she meets Candide in the park later on, they instantly fall in love and know they are meant to be together for life. Oh, don't you know when you just see that person walking down the hall, oh yes, that's who I'm going to be with for the rest of my life? I know I do. Soon after his lesson and the two lovers encounter, Candide is torn from his lover Cunegonde and forced to travel the world in search of a new home. He has an encounter with barbaric Bulgarians who draft them to serve in the military. Our young hero is left wounded and flayed, only to fight in a war as soon as he heals. It is after the time of the Bulgarians that young Candide meets his dear old Pangloss once again. Pangloss has faced many hardships in the years that have passed, and he is reduced to but a broken and drunken beggar on the sidewalk. However, even in his worst condition, Pangloss is optimistic to the point of ludicrousness, saying that even his syphilis is for the better. Because, you know, you and I, we love our syphilis. But anyway, so his syphilis is better because without the syphilis, there would be no other New World wonders like chocolate. And who wants to live without the chocolate? Apparently Pangloss does not. Candide and Pangloss join forces once again and travel until the ship is destroyed and the two are forced to walk the rest of the journey to Lisbon, where Candide meets his lover Cunegonde again. She tells him of the horror stories she's been forced to endure from the Bulgars, murdering her family to the being shared between the Grand Inquisitor and a man named John Issachar, who Candide later murders in a rage, causing him to flee, leaving Cunegonde once again. Candide soon comes across the crazy Cacambo, who tells Candide to not worry about Cunegonde, for God takes care of women. This comment serves to mock religion, seeing as Cunegonde has been far from protected in her life. The two travel for a time, eventually finding themselves in the mystical land of El Dorado where everything is gold.
That's it! We can't go any further. We have gone far enough. Oh, look at the boat! It's filled with coconuts! And then we can stop the boat and go downstream with the current. You know, a stream always leads to an inhabited place. And well, if we don't find something pleasant, we'll find something else. Come, Candide! What are you doing? I don't like this. You're crazy. Get off of me, you freak! Give me here. Come down the river! River! Come with me, you sissy. I'll just leave you there then.
They come across the strange animalistic people of El Dorado who agree upon everything and never have any differences. Voltaire uses this community dynamic to point out the flaws in modern society and religion while complementing the ancient tribal ways. Candide decides he can no longer stay in El Dorado without Cunegonde, his lovely fair lady, because without her life is quite not worth living. And he moves from satirical character to satirical character, town to town, village to village, and so on and so forth. It is then that he meets the pessimistic Martin, Pangloss's foil, and is introduced to all of the negativity in the world. Eventually, Candide is finally reunited with his love, whom he has promised to marry long ago. Unfortunately, she has grown a little grotesque in her old age, and, well, she's quite a bit cranky. But because he promised, Candide has to live with her anyway, and go through and marry her, and he finds a garden, he becomes a farmer, and he lives on his farm happily ever after, except not really because life sucks. And he lives out the rest of his life with Pangloss and Martin and Cacambo and the whole crowd, basically. And, well, let's just say their ending wasn't quite as good as I hope yours all to be. So let's all go cultivate our gardens.